Hello, welcome to another session of the FinApp tutorial. Today, now we're going to talk about the tracking and whitelisting module or section of the research and advisory. So, this is an extremely important module. You're already seeing the screen. You might be figuring that, or you might be wondering that the tabs, the data tabs, so to say, are exactly the same as the fund navigator and the fund comparison, but the use case is very, very different, extremely relevant and very different. So let me, as usual, first of all explain to you what is the use case of this particular tab, which is called as tracking and whitelisting. Many of us as advisors, we have our own list of funds, right, that we keep recommending to our clients, from equity, debt, hybrid, etc., etc. And what happens is that we take a review of these funds maybe once in a quarter or once in 6 months, and then we essentially make decisions whether to sort of keep a particular fund in the portfolio as part of the whitelisted fund, or remove it, add some other funds, etc., etc. So these are reviews, or these are periodical processes which any advisor would actually be doing or should be doing, so to say. But the challenge always remains in terms of keeping a track of the funds that we keep recommending. And, in other words, keeping a track of the whitelisted funds, favorite funds, etc., etc. So, in our previous session for Fund Navigator and also from Fund Comparison, where essentially the fund selection processes happens, we've already shown you how to add a particular fund to the favorite segment. Or, in other words, if you like a fund, add this to your tracking list so that it gets properly tracked by all parameters without too much of a hassle. So, what you're seeing now on this screen, the under the funds tracking and whitelisting, under the funds own means your own tracking, are the funds which you've already whitelisted as part of your recommendation. Okay, so these are the funds that you keep tracking. You would want to see whether these funds are doing well, etc., etc., whether to keep it, like I said, or sort of remove it. Those are decisions that you can actually quickly make out of this particular screen. So, just quickly repeating it, tracking and whitelisting under funds own is the funds that you have decided to whitelist or you've decided to track. And this will essentially be coming from the fund navigator. The moment you press that star button, it is going to be coming here. So you will actually have a track of all the asset classes. It is bifurcated by an asset class level, which is a high level: equity, debt, hybrid, global, commodity, etc., etc. Now, coming back to equity, as you can see that all the funds that you've earmarked as favorite funds has come here, starting from Franklin FlexiCap to Aditya Birla FlexiCap. You can see that funds from different categories are all up here. So all of these funds is something that you've already star marked, and that has come equity funds that you've star marked, which has come under funds equity all. Now, when you click here, you see the categories on which you have earmarked. Okay, so when I'm, let's say, choosing FlexiCap, I'm only seeing the FlexiCap funds that have earmarked or that have bookmarked or favorited, in whatever parlance that you can say. So, in my decisions of the fund selection, while using Fund Navigator and Fund Comparison thing, I've decided to favorite Franklin India FlexiCap, DSP FlexiCap, and Aditya Birla FlexiCap. So that is how it has come here. Now, what is the use case for this? Like I said, it is going to be super easy for you to track, or rather keep a track of your favorite FlexiCap funds. You don't need to go to any other place. You just come here, you click on FlexiCap, you come to know that these are the funds that you're actually deciding to keep a track of. Now, what is the relevance of this? Now, if you just take a look at ranking, for example, you're able to see the ranking as on yesterday. The same thing that you were seeing in the fund selection, as well as in the the fund navigator, and in the the fund comparison. But it's so easy for you to now take a look at the favorite funds of yours, and you take a then decision in terms of whether to sort of keep a track of these particular funds, whether to sort of keep these funds or remove these funds, etc., etc. You're able to see the top 10 holdings on a very quick manner. You're able to see the analytical data on a very quick manner, etc., etc. Now, another very important thing which is not there in the fund navigator and fund selection is something called as a trend analysis. This is an extra module or an addition that we have in the favorite fund. Take a look at this. It's an extremely important thing. It is going to help you in terms of tracking the NAV performance or the NAV graph or the performance of the fund in a very, very easy manner. And the good part is you can also change your time frame. So let's say you sort of, let's say, look at the 3 months performance of the flexi caps. You can see that Aditya Birla flexi cap is actually scoring high on a 3 month basis. And when you, let's say, take a look at 1 year also, this fund is scoring high. And of course, you can also see the volatility in between the NAV movement or the value of 10,000 rupees invested over the last 1 year is something that you're able to see. So you will actually be able to know the trend analysis, therefore giving you a very quick picture in terms of how your favorite funds within that particular category is performing. Help you in terms of the decision making whether to keep or remove it. Now comes another very important parameter, AUM. So like the CTA itself suggests that it is called as a trend analysis. So we are sort of showing you the AUM data for all the funds that you're sort of tracking for the last 3 months. Okay, as you can see that almost all the funds have actually lost the AUM, but you can sort of see how much of AUM has actually been lost or gained by the respective funds that you're sort of tracking. Coming to another important part, which is the asset allocation. Again, you are able to see that what is the asset allocation for this particular fund, which is of course split between equity, debt, and cash. You will be able to see, in case of the fund manager has done certain changes, some kind of trend analysis. You will be able to spot that very easily under this particular tab. Market cap, again being a flexi cap, you will be very curious to know that how the fund manager has actually been moving the market cap segments between large, mid, and small as well. That is also very easy for you to find out who we are. And then last one on the valuation front is the price to earnings ratio, how the PE ratio has actually been moved for these funds in the last 3 months. Okay, so in a way, this is actually going to be a placeholder that you're going to be using more frequently than any other screen in FinApp under the research space. Why? Because it's extremely important for you to keep a track of the funds that you keep recommending to your clients, whether it is a time for an entry, whether it is a time for an exit, etc., etc. Those decisions, which are extremely important for your advisory processes, can easily be implemented or can easily be tracked from this particular module. So just quickly summarizing, any fund that you favorite or star mark from the fund selection modules is going to come here, sit on the funds section under own, and you can also see it under the category level, and you will actually be able to see the entire data in a very easy and efficient manner along with the trend analysis, so that it is going to be helping you in terms of keeping the decision of whether to keep a fund or to remove a fund from your favorite list. So please make sure that you sort of use tracking and whitelisting to the core. And for that particular thing, the first step for you to do is start using the fund selection panel. Start adding your funds by clicking on the star mark. Thank you so much. If you have any questions in terms of favoriting, how to favorite, etc., etc., please get in touch with us primarily via your relationship manager. Thank you.